Hello, everybody. So this is your friend, Dr. Broni here. I'm here with Pharm Eben, and we're going to have an awesome conversation about pharmacists. A lot of you have been asking about it. So, Mr. Eben is an international pharmacist, and like you, he is a graduate from Ghana, West Africa. So shout out to all our friends from Ghana, Nigeria, all the guys in the West African belt. He started his pharmacy practice after graduation in 2005 in Ghana. And in August 2009, he relocated to Canada and he settled in Edmonton. And he became a licensed pharmacist to practice in Alberta in 2011. So he's been practicing for quite some time. And soon after he obtained his licensure, he took keen interest in coaching and teaching other foreign trained pharmacists. And he did this voluntarily, and a lot of them succeeded in getting their licensure. He became well known in the community. And in 2013, he was contacted by the government of Alberta to bring his students to the Center for Skilled Internationals to tutor them and mentor them. And during that time, he was contracted to the Pharmacy Bridging Program, which was a 10-month program that transitioned foreign graduates and integrated them to practice safely as pharmacists in Alberta. And, he was in both programs and trained over 200 pharmacists from 2013 to 2019 until he left Edmonton. And after his relocation, he's continued to mentor and train international pharmacists and graduates from pharmacy schools all over the world. And his passion and willingness is to see others succeed in their licensure process. And that is what has got him to join MedCognito. So I want to use this opportunity to also let you know that at MedCognito now, we've started a pharmacy program. And Eben believes in giving of his best. And his positivity and great mentorship is what he brings to bear in the course to see every pharmacist succeed in practicing safely in Canada. So he sits on the Medicine Hat College board as a member, and also in his immediate past, president of the Alberta Association of Travel Health Professionals, which is AATHP, where he currently sits on the board as well. Eben is married and he has an amazing, beautiful wife and two energetic children, a 15-year-old teenager and an 11-year-old girl. And he loves to travel and enjoys playing golf. So he comes to this enterprise with a wealth of knowledge and experience. And we're going to learn so much from him. And you're going to see so much from him in the coming days. So, Mr. Eben, welcome. And welcome to this conversation. And we'll see how we can best help our pharmacists all over the world to get the best out of their process. Thank you very much for today.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brody, for having me. And
Sure.
I'm especially delighted to be part of what you guys are doing in terms of MedCognito.
Okay.
And only after today, I'm not going to say you guys, it's going to be we.
Yes.
And I really do appreciate the extension of camaraderie as well as joining such a great team to mentor other professionals who have sojourned in Canada. And I'm looking forward to being a part of this, and especially with the pharmacy part of it. I'm quite
Beautiful.
excited.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's cut to the chase.
Okay.
Mr. Eben, now I'm going to give you the floor. Please, can you walk us through a step-by-step process? Because, a lot of people are wondering, if I'm an international pharmacist, what do I do? So can you walk us through a step-by-step process through the entire licensure journey for an international pharmacy graduate who is new to Canada? Or probably has even been here, but did not know the steps?
So that's a very loaded question, and we'll try to wrap it up in a few minutes. So for any international pharmacy graduate that I meet, the first thing that I ask them is, have you done your document evaluation?
Document verification? Okay.
Evaluation, or we would say verification, basically. So we have the Pharmacy Examining Board of Canada, which is the PBC. And the PBC is responsible for evaluating the documentation of each foreign graduate. So basically, what they do with that process is they verify if your learning in terms of pharmacy school as well as practice is at par with what Canadians do.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that goes through a bit of process, and at the moment, this might take anywhere between 3 months to a year, depending on submission of documents that they are looking for.
So is there a way? Is there a way a candidate will know whether their training is at par with Canadian pharmacy training, like even before going through the process?
So yes, I would say yes, because most countries, they do have a list of countries that usually they know that their learning or education is at par with Canadians.
Oh,
But
okay.
notwithstanding, the other piece of it that they do is to actually verify if you actually did go through that learning. So I think that's the piece that makes it a bit lengthy.
Okay.
And so we've had people within 3 months, they've had their documents evaluated. And we've had people that over a year, they still haven't had it in a way sealed, right?
Oh,
So it's the first step. Yeah. So without that evaluation of documentation, there's no way you can even start the process of becoming licensed in Canada. So
so
that's the
which
first step.
specific documents are they going to verify?
So usually, number one, they're going to verify your learning in terms of if you have any degree in pharmacy, they would verify that. So they would definitely reach out to whichever university, get your transcripts, get your degree to ascertain and make sure that you actually gain that degree. And then if you have worked with any professional body outside of Canada as a pharmacist, they're going to reach out to that professional body. So in Canada, we do have 10 provinces with 3 territories, and each province has a body that kind of regulates pharmacy profession. And
Okay.
in every country outside of Canada, it's the same. The pharmacy profession is regulated. So they're going to reach out to the regulatory authority and verify to know that you indeed were a practicing pharmacist as you claim.
Okay. So apart from assuming I'm a candidate, apart from my transcript, what other documents would they verify from my school so I can start preparing all those documents?
So transcript is the main thing that they're
The
going to.
transcripts, okay.
And then they also would be looking at a degree, right?
The
So
degree.
yeah, so if you have a degree, they'll be looking for an attestation from that university. And these are all done. It's not something that you as an individual you provide. It's between the PBC and the institution. So and it's interesting because I have actually in my practice in Canada experienced only one pharmacist whose documents were rejected by the PBC.
Okay. Okay.
This is something that personally I've experienced with a foreign trained professional who
Okay.
I said, you need to evaluate your documents before we can even get you into our pharmacy. And in the end, it came back that in a way, their education was not up to par to becoming like up to par to say this person can go ahead and write exams and be a pharmacist to practice in Canada.
Okay. So you mentioned PBC. I'm just trying to check their 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 website. What website so that if somebody wants to start, what website should a person go to?
So it's exactly what we've said. It's pebc.ca. And the
Sorry, what did you
PBC
say? PEBC or PBC?
pebc.ca.
Okay, so listeners, PEBC. So just type in pebc.ca. That's where you go to get your documents source verified. Okay, so Mr. Eben, I'm assuming I've submitted my documents, my degree, my transcript. What should I be doing while that is going on?
So while that is going on, basically, if you have a focus of practicing in Canada, then you begin to start to study, and then you begin to start to look at your journey and how it looks like in Canada, right? So it's pretty it's a pretty straightforward process.
Mhm.
But then it becomes lengthy and it has certain things that comes in between. But then if you are looking at it, it's more writing the evaluation exam. That's the first step.
So there's an evaluation exam.
An evaluation exam.
Okay. And then after that, what other exams?
After that, then they do have two other exams, which is the MCQ Part 1,
MCQ Part 1. Okay.
and then they have the MCQ Part 2. And the Part 2 is what we call the OSCEs,
Okay. So there's the evaluation exam, the MCQ Part 1, and MCQ Part 2, which is the OSCE exam.
which is the OSCE exam.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then once you're done with that, then the last one will be the jurisprudence exam, which is usually based on the province where you are. So the jurisprudence is more the laws governing pharmacy practice in a particular province. And
Okay.
that's the final exam that you write. Having said this, if you are a foreign trade pharmacist,
Mhm.
the first exam that I would highly encourage any foreign trade firm, even before you step foot in Canada, or if you are in Canada and you're thinking, is either the TOEFL or the IELTS exam, right? And it's
So you're thinking about the English exam,
the English exam. So
either
the
TOEFL or
IELTS
IELTS.
exam or the TOEFL.
Okay.
You need to have that out of the way, because at the end of the day, the regulatory authority or the regulatory body would require that for your licensure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would. So if you do everything, and I've seen this happen, where pharmacists have actually cleared their evaluation, MCQ Part 1, MCQ Part 2, and are struggling to get their IELTS out of the way so they can actually register with the regulatory authority and get into a structured practical program where they can shadow a pharmacist and actually practice.
So a quick question there, because I know that the IELTS, yes, we have the academic and the general. Which
Yes.
of these two should the candidates take?
It will be the academic one.
The academic one, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I have another question which some pharmacists have asked. Do I need to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident to take any of these exams?
The answer is no.
Okay.
So you don't have to be. Yeah, you don't have to be. However, in order to be legally authorized to practice
Okay.
in Canada, you must have you must have a work permit.
A work permit.
Right? Yeah,
So
so
you
you
need
must
to get
have
a work permit,
yeah,
a permanent residency,
permanent residency or be
or
a
a
Canadian
citizen.
citizen. But then the idea is that you must have legal grounds to work in Canada.
Okay.
Basically,
All right.
that's what it is. But then, in terms of the PBC, which is the federal, they take care of the national accreditation for pharmacists.
Okay.
That it has nothing to do with whether you are a citizen or you're a permanent resident, or it doesn't have anything to do with that. So somebody can go through all that. Now, when you get to the actual practice, which is the regulation of pharmacy practice within a particular province, this is where the legalities come in.
Okay.
Where it's more like, hey, if you don't have the legal rights to, in a way, work in Canada, then there's no need. We registering you on our pharmacy registry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Eben, is that all? After this, I write my jurisprudence exam, and then what else?
Then you usually, whilst writing the jurisprudence, is either you are in a structural practical program within a province or territory. So after you've completed that, then the regulatory body will issue a license to practice within that particular province.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Eben. So can you just summarize everything we talked about step by step by step by step? And after that, give us 2 action points that all pharmacists who are listening to you right now should take so far as their licensure process is concerned.
Okay. So if you decide to sojourn in Canada or immigrate to Canada and practice pharmacy as you've been doing prior to coming, the first thing that you need is that you need your documents evaluated. And like we said, this is through the pbc.ca, which is the Pharmacy Examining Board of Canada. Once your documents have been evaluated and authenticated by the PBC, you can now challenge the exams. And there's three main exams. The first one is the evaluation exam. The second one is the MCQ Part 1. And then the third one is the MCQ Part 2 or the OSCEs. Now, once you've done these three, PBC is going to clear you and give you a certificate to say you are now authorized to practice pharmacy in Canada. But then you now have to pick a province in which you need to practice. And that province is going to require that you know the regulations that govern pharmacy practice. And that's where the jurisprudence exams comes in. So that's the final stage. Now, to wrap it up, like I said earlier, you need either a TOEFL or an academic IELTS to be able to kind of get that registration through and get your license to practice. So I normally advise people, I say it last, but actually it's the first thing you should do. Once you are evaluating your documents, you should be writing your IELTS or your TOEFL.
So, wonderful pharmacist, we heard from the legend himself. Get your TOEFL or your IELTS academic, get your documents source verified, get the opportunity to write your Part 1, no, your evaluation exam, the Part 1 and the Part 2, which is the OSCE, and then get the jurisprudence exam. But Mr. Eben, before we go, this is the last question I want to ask from you. Assuming someone is not in Canada right now, are there any of these exams that person can take even before they land in Canada?
That's a very important question. And actually, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, example, writing the IELTS or TOEFL, you don't need to be in Canada.
Beautiful.
Writing the evaluation exam, you don't need to be in Canada.
Beautiful.
Evaluating your documents, you don't need to be in Canada.
Beautiful.
Writing the MCQ Part 1, you don't need to be in Canada.
Oh, so that means the only
MCQ
exam
Part 2 that you have to be in Canada, because that is an oral exam and you have to be seen in person at display.
I see. That's awesome. So look, it looks like we can do so much while we are waiting to even immigrate, or if you are already here, we can still do so much. So please, this is a great opportunity for us to get this thing going. Let's all aim for the stars. And Mr. Eben, thank you very much for spending time to explain this to us and making it so simple, because so many people are lost in the woods and they don't know what to do. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Broni.
Thank you.
Okay.